Player of the Week time. It was a tough one this week. I know
lots of quality players.
Yeah, it was a tough selection, but I think a worthy player was chosen in Mason Cook, the Austin Gilgroni's hooker, who punched in 100 minutes on the game. So let's throw it now to our Player of the Week, Mason Cook.
I used to be a wrestler. I played football, I played baseball, I did a little bit of track here and there, kind of across the board. Then nearing the end of my sophomore year in high school, I was 16, decided to stop wrestling because I had been cutting weight pretty hard from football to wrestling to get to that, and this really wasn't working for me anymore. One of my football coaches happened to do some rugby coaching in the spring on the side and said, hey, why don't you come out? I was looking for something to replace it. I hopped in and I stuck with it. It was awesome. It was a great fit for me. And then over the course of the next couple of years, I continued to play and school went pretty well for me, and I had the opportunity to go out to Dartmouth. And yeah, I was just with my family, just a close circle of friends. It was actually the day before my graduation from Dartmouth. So it was a big weekend for me. And we were just hanging around the computer. I had an inkling that I would maybe go. I had some calls from a few different teams. I definitely wasn't sure about Austin. And then, I got the call from Sammy, and I was pretty shocked. I didn't even know what to say on that call. It was, in retrospect, pretty embarrassing. Back on it with a lot of laughs, kind of inter-squad. I know Louis, a fellow draftee at Austin, had a really similar experience, just not even knowing what to say. So, but it was an awesome spectacle. I think really good for the MLR as a whole, being able to put that out there and kind of inspire that whole college system to keep cranking out some good products. Definitely. We were pretty desperate for a win. I think looking back on the first 2 weeks, we'd strung together some pretty good performances and it was unfortunately not executed in some key moments that would have maybe turned those games in our direction. So I think that was the big focus for our week, is executing under pressure, putting ourselves in those positions where games on the line, and simulating that at training, just so that we were equipped for that going into the game. And I think that really helped kind of across the board throughout the entirety of it, coming out on the front foot and being able to execute when we had to. I think just the setup is really important. Now you want to be as consistent as possible with every single throw, no matter where it is in the lineout, and that starts even before the lineout's set up, right? So approaching the line the same way, holding the ball the same way every time, and just walking yourself through that process is really important. And it's also a great centering process for when you're really gassed and you have to throw a line under pressure, when you're attacking either at your own line or near the opponent's line and you really need to hit this line out. So things are going to go wrong inevitably, whether it be timing or an errant throw. It definitely helps to come back to that process and recenter yourself every time. You definitely need to have a quick memory and not think too hard, and just get it back in, trust your process, things will work out.
But, I had a chance to talk with Zach Test from San Diego, and he brought up something which I thought was really interesting, is that normally when a try is scored against you, you get a chance to take a breath, right? The water guys run out, you circle up, you're able to get a message on from the coach, and people can reset. And they can say, okay, something happened. Let's not let that happen again. Let's not let them have a try scored again. But when someone scores between the posts, you don't get a chance to get that reset. So one of the interesting things is, and I think, and one of the, sort of lack of preseason outcomes that I've seen is how poor kickoffs have been received. I mean, that lots of kickoffs are dropped, there's huge momentum changes. But actually, you would think that with the 7-point try, right, the scoring team should have the advantage because the defending team doesn't have a chance to gather themselves and reset. So I think that's the thing in the 7-point try that I think is really.
Can they though?
No. I mean, it's just straight up for the kickoff. We saw this a little bit, Dan, with the penalty try, when the penalty try went to 7 points last year, and we saw teams circling up under the posts. And the referee was like, no, there's no circling up, there's no kick, let's go, and it's just a kickoff.
LA at Toronto at NOLA. All right. Jump in.
I think this is LA. I think that as long as LA stay healthy, it's going to be hard for anyone. I think Toronto have a chance to play with them. I don't think the Toronto team can live with the attack, and I don't think their attack yet is clicking on all cylinders. I think this is LA like 35-26.
Yeah, I'm not picking against LA. Not like until you said, until there's some until they have
Ghetto. Like, I think Ghetto's the key. Like, one of the things that I didn't put into the all access work, but like if I'm Toronto, I put Ghetto on the ground as much as I can. Like, I run at him, I make him tackle. Like, and you know, it's not that he's, you know, I mean, he's older, right? So that's going to be harder.
This is their first road trip too, Pete. So this is like going to be a test for those guys who have like obviously over 100 caps. So they've traveled, but they've traveled quite well. Like traveling with the Wallabies is one thing, but traveling in the MLR is a different experience. I mean, I wish we could have done year one with you and I going to Boomtown and seeing how they perform the next day after the casino lights just flashing on your window until 5 a.m. But yeah, it's LA. What would you say the score is going to be?
I said it's 35-26.
Yeah, I think this will be the toughest game they've played in the opening 4 weeks, but I don't see Toronto having the strike power to go tit for tat with them. So I'll go LA as well. I'll go 42-19. Here we go. All right, second game down there at the Gold Mine. It's a home side. NOLA taking on Austin. Austin come off that win. Houston, NOLA off the bye. This is a tough
one because I think Austin's a good team. Like, I know that, you know, they have a history of not being very good, but even though, you know, I mean, they won last week against Houston, but even in the game they lost.
So something that is important, in 3 games, they are the number 1 ranked defense. Austin is? Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Stat Boy. That little nugget.
Normally he would chime in after I've done my.
That's what I do to you, not him. Aaron's a good guy. I'm the one who's sneaky about that stuff with you. So I've got to go first, actually, because you went first last time. It's hard to pick against NOLA at home, isn't it? And they've looked good. I'll pick an upset here. I'll go Austin on the road.
Of course you are. Like everyone knows you were going to go Austin. I knew it.
Road.
Strobro knew it. All the listeners knew it. Everyone knew it. But it's a strong pick, Dan. I think that's a strong pick. I'm going to go with NOLA. What's your score?
This is going to be a tight game. Like, best defense in the league. I don't know if you knew that, but Austin have the best defense in the league. I love my stats. So I think it'll be tied. 22-17 to Austin.
My guess is that ranking is based on points scored. I would guess.
Against them, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm, there's lots of reasons, right? Ball and play could be a reason for that. But I mean, look, Austin have a very good defense. I think NOLA coming off the break. I think some of this depends on who's going to play scrum half.
Yep.
Right, but I picked against NOLA when they didn't pick the scrum half I wanted. So, but I think I'm going to go with NOLA. I think the break, not having to travel. I think Austin, big win in the Texas Cup. Sometimes hard to get up for again after a big emotional win. I'm going to go with NOLA. I think NOLA's going to win 32-19.
All right, San Diego, Houston. This one at Aviva Stadium on Saturday night. Legion, both 1 and 2, right? Yeah, I think so. Both 1 and 2. You're up on this one.
I mean, I'm going to go with San Diego. I mean, I think Houston now, like, I think when they can bring in their starting scrum half, the vet Roos, right? I think that will help Houston, but I don't think that's this weekend. I think San Diego are going to bounce back. I think, like I said, I think Atlanta made them look worse than they are. I think San Diego wins this one. Like, it's just hard to see Houston scoring any points. What's it going to be? I mean, I think San Diego wins this like 28-10.
Can I tell you something real quick? Oh, you just made your pick. Sorry.
That's okay. Go for it. No,
Chris Robshaw. He's playing this weekend.
Well, I picked San Diego, right?
So. I know. That's why I did it. It didn't matter.
What I love is you were holding it back, though. You were still holding it back.
I know. Just as a joke, obviously, because didn't go against your pick.
Right.
Yeah, I think Chris Robshaw helps. Like you said, there's some talented players in San Diego, just not clicking. I think the happiest person in San Diego is going to be Joe Peterson to see Chris Robshaw come in and just kind of steady the ship. And